everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have two amazing women with us tonight. We have our lovely Marianne here. Our lovely Marianne from London. You're in London town, aren't you, at the moment, Marianne? So I'm just checking now that this is all live on Facebook, and we have our guests that are watching who's going to tell us if we're live or not. My internet is really, really slow for some reason, so I'm not able to check that. So, oh yes, we are live. That's wonderful. Okay, so, and we have our lovely Brigitte here. So,
hi. Happy to be back.
So I know there's going to be a lot of people that's really pleased to see Brigitte, including us.
Me.
Oh, and me to see you, Marianne.
Yeah,
and whoever is there, Debbie maybe, and maybe from America, and maybe Jack from UK. So whoever turns up, welcome.
Yeah. So Debbie usually comes on, but she's not here at this moment in time. But we have.
Send us kisses in the comments. Bijou, bijou.
Yeah. Bisous, bisous, bisous.
Kisses in the comments. Anyway, it's all been recorded, and we're going to share some very valuable information. So before we start, just to say that we have a difficult connection. Jack is here. Good evening to my three beautiful ladies, he says. Three beautiful friends. Sorry, Jack. My apologies. Three beautiful friends. So.
Hello, Jack.
So yes. So we have got a very difficult connection from this unspoken place where we're in the middle of nature that we are broadcasting from. And if we lose connection and suddenly it goes blank, just stay patient because we will reconnect. So, yeah.
Okay, well, it's related really to the confusion that might be going on right now, planetarily.
Yeah, we were just listening to Pam Gregory with a little astrological update before we started. So what did she say?
Well, there is going to be a square. Well, there's a square between Neptune, who is right at the end of Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces. Pisces is to do with the waters. It's mysticism, meditation. It's connecting with the higher realms, but it's as well the realm of the illusions. And it's squaring to the last degrees of the sun, Mercury. Sun is solar energy, how you shine in the world. Mercury, how you communicate. Beautiful Hermes, messenger of the gods, the one who is taking our messages to the gods. And I think Venus in Gemini, the last degree of Gemini. So we're having a square. Well, a square means a point of tension, which means most of us right now are very confused.
We don't know what the bleep is going on at all.
Yeah, that is very confusing, and everyone I meet is exhausted and confused. And today and the last few days, I have been seeing a little hedgehog, a little baby hedgehog, who is totally confused. Now, hedgehogs never come out in the daytime unless they're very ill. So I've given him little, I've made a sacrifice. I've made a sacrifice with a few snails and a little egg, and now he's very happy. So it's just to say, you may feel confused, and there is a hell of a lot of confusion in the collective media, giving very interesting stuff. Just do your own tracking, do your own research. Okay, so that's one little piece, and then we're going to have a full
like snails. Hedgehogs like snails. Do they?
Yes, they love snails. And this little one didn't have enough to feed because the weather is not natural. So we're living Julia's going to bring that on, and you're going to bring that on as regard the weather is being modified in mega big ways.
Across the planet.
Across all the planet, and it's affecting little beings, including bees, including hornets, and including little baby hedgehogs were born this year. This is born this year, and he's not finding his food.
It's a cute little tiny hedgehog. He's so sweet.
He's gorgeous, isn't he?
Anyway, he's safely in his little box now. Mama Brigitte has taken care of him. we cracked an egg for him and put in a little bit of milk, and then Mama Brigitte went and found some little snails and put in. It's like, sorry, snails.
Yeah. So I said,
so he's all cuddled up now.
So he's happy, and I've given him a whole pile of dried leaves. So, and then later on, I will let him out again, so he can be free.
So we're all confused right now, and it's been really difficult trying to figure out. There's so much happening. It's like, what do we talk about? Because we never have enough space to talk about everything. And I always like go on too long because I want to talk about this and that and so on. So we've decided,
go up and get on with it.
we're going to concentrate on the whole thing about the weather modification, because that's such a big thing. But before that, I just want to say that there's some pivotal things happening. And you got the bit about Saudi Arabia. What was that?
Well, Saudi Arabia on the 9th of June has declared that it's no longer going to be trading with US dollars. So it's going with the BRICS. So that's India, Africa, Russia, Brazil, many other countries.
China, South Africa.
Yeah.
So all those countries are clubbing together and
boycotting the US dollar.
Which means,
so what you have to be really aware, even planetarily, second house, which is the house of money, is going to be a little bit shaky.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to impact the United States
and Britain
and Europe. But that's the shift. Okay. And the other thing is we're going to have the full moon in Capricorn, 1 degree. Anything on 1 degree or 29 degree is the world axis. That means we're going to have great news, global news, which are going to be shaking the world. And because it's in Capricorn, it's going to have to do with finances, governments, institutions, worldwide. It's on the world axis. Capricorn, Cancer. Okay.
So a huge amount of disclosure coming out as well.
It's big stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, happening.
Yes. Bit of an earthquake, a bit of a global quake is so.
But definitely to do with America, because it's going to be activating the second house. America is 1762 when it declared its right, its constitution.
It's a republic, but it's not a republic.
It's not republic.
Anyway, no. So the great news is that Kansas, the state of Kansas, is suing Pfizer. That's a massive, massive thing that's happening now, that Pfizer has misrepresented the jabs. So that's good.
That's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really huge. Have you seen that, Marion?
No, I haven't seen it.
So that's one state, but there are other states who are starting. Yeah.
What were you going to say, Marion?
There's a lot of stories of cases coming through.
Yes.
But the only one that we've ever seen come to anywhere near a conclusion has been the Amityville horrors in New York with Trump, isn't it? On the Hunter Biden thing. It's like all this legal stuff it's part of the confusion, isn't it? It's all tossed around into the stratosphere. And even though there's a lot of positive legal action taking place, there's no conclusions happening. There's no and there's no bloody accountability whatsoever for decisions that, like the 2 meter, whatever it was, totally made it up. But there's no accountability, there's no payment, there's nothing.
To Fauci, yeah.
That makes total sense, because in a way media is still hijacked. So we're not going to get the truth. And this is where this planetary, there's confusion. And it's the last degree.
And the justice system has been hijacked, hasn't it? Because the old money has bought so many minds and decisions, and that now the new DIE, whatever it is, those policies have come in, and so there's no justice is needed. It was old men's money, and now it's anything that if you say anything about it, you're called a racist for, whatever that is. That's more important. So there's like the values of the people who are the judicial system, who are the judges, and the groups that they're all affiliated with are just so toxic, aren't they?
Yeah, difficult times to be in. So there's this real push and pull between you know, the control of people's minds that we've covered so much in the media, and the justice system, and the people trying to push back against things to make sense of what's happening, to push back against the United Nations. It's very, very evil. And the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, and so on, controlled by those nut jobs. Anyway, so
case. Let me just tell you quickly. There's a case of he's 20. I think he's 25. This man. He's got the mental age of an 18-month-old baby. He was born similar to Downs, but not Downs, with a chromosomal thing. And so he's like an 18-month-old. His mother's brought him up till he's 24, and they've been trying to jab him for 4 years, and they're still taking her to court. She's been in court and being told she's got to do it. She's got to let them give him the vax. And that's still going on. The case has still not yet been completed. And that's happening now in our judicial system. That poor woman and a boy, like, being harangued through the courts, you know. It's like, and then there's like, what were you saying? Is it David Martin you were saying has done some official statement? David Martin, yeah. Like, that stuff's been known for so long, and it's been in the public face for so long.
Yeah, it's been known so long, and we keep pushing back, and they keep kind of pushing. And Andrew bridging just now, because we've got the elections coming up, and now we've got, like, Nigel Farage is like contesting and standing up as an independent, well, the, what do you call it, party? What party? The Reform Party. Is it the Reform?
Yeah.
And the light showing that both Keir Starmer and, who's the Labour guy? No, Keir Starmer is, and the Conservative is, what's his name? Titface. What's his name? The one with the big ears.
Nipple height, Richie.
Oh, he's very small, isn't it? Our little Richie Sunak. Is it Sunak?
It is Sunak.
Okay, with the big ears.
Roland Rat, isn't he?
Roland Rat. Anyway, they're two cheeks of the same arse, apparently, according to the guy with the trilby hat. Is that right?
It is right, yeah.
Okay, so it's the globalists. So there's this big pushback against the globalists by Nigel Farage, and it's quite interesting because who's the woman in France is pushing back?
Le Pen.
So Le Pen, because we got Macron, that was also.
Did you see the other day? Did you see what happened?
Yeah. What happened?
in front of Biden.
So Biden's on, Macron, and then the missus, and Biden starts kind of stumbling after he'd only been stood still 1 second. He kind of stumbled around and decided to turn and face in the opposite direction. So then the wife and Macron decided they'd copy him and turn around. And during all of this, he's also shitting himself, literally going like that on stage. And then Macron and the wife both end up like this.
Yeah, oh my God.
And then she marched him off. It lasted about 2 more minutes. And she frog marched him off the stage, like all the way down. And then Macron was running around like a blue-ass fly, lost. What's going on? What am I going to do now? I'm supposed to be stood here with the president, and he's just fucking run off with his missus. It was. I heard this really brilliant commentary to it, so I've got a really nice image of what was going on.
Oh yeah, the poop pants, the takeoff of Trump.
Oh
Biden and his pants. Yeah. It's crazy, Jack has made a comment here, and he says, that's right, Marion, they are weaponizing our language against us, as Orwell predicted.
Yeah.
He called it newspeak.
Yeah, anything you can say is racist will be defended. It's, what are they called? Something characteristics, protected characteristics. And the highest on the list is middle-aged man in frock who goes to girls' toilets. Do you know what I mean?
And with big ears. Big ears?
I don't know, just wear frocks and go to girls' toilets. You probably wouldn't notice with him.
Anyway, we have got a few little video clips, so we do want to focus on.
Didn't you want to see that?
We have talked about David Martin. Weapons
we tossed him in very quickly there.
Very quickly, so everybody watching this, we are glossing over a lot of subjects very quickly because there's so much going on. But all the links will be beside, and you can follow up the research yourself, investigate. There's so much going on. Investigate. So we are fed up with the chemtrails. It's rained in England non-stop the whole year, except for a couple of days. And I'm having massive problems with growing things outside alongside a lot of other people. But it's not just England. We've been researching, and it's all over the world. It's like everybody is so angry and so pissed off with what they're doing, and we never gave them our permission. So I want to say now, I do not give my consent to geoengineering, weather modification. I don't give my consent. I never voted for it, and I don't agree with it. What about you?
Oh, I don't give my consent whatsoever.
Right.
But I've stopped giving them my anger. Yes, I don't know. I'm looking into ways of, Juliette shared with me some links for France, and it's everywhere. I mean, they're everywhere. And they're damaging so much. But people are still, I mean, what I'm doing is challenging people in a lovely way by saying, have you seen the skies lately? Oh, no, I haven't looked. How about looking and just checking? This is not normal heat. This is not normal, not seeing the stars, not seeing the Pyrenees. It's 3 years now. I can't see the Pyrenees, which are mountains, which are tremendously high. So when it's going to rain, you see them like I see you. Well, now you can't see them.
No.
So it's fascinating. And do people see? No.
Well, the thing is,
so what's happening?
They've been doing it since 2001. So this generation, like my children, our children's generation, all they've seen is chemtrailed skies. How can they know that that's not right?
The interesting thing, which I wanted to share, is when I said that to my daughter, who visited a couple of years ago, for my birthday, we went to the Mediterranean. Yeah. Well, she said, Mom, you need your eyes tested. I said, well, they have just been tested. And my vision is good apart from the rest, And I said, no, I said, it's a veil. It's like a veil. Somebody's pulled a curtain. And it's really at every level. Mm-hmm. So maybe I was thinking, soon I won't even be able to see somebody at a meter away from me if this goes on. Because I'm laughing about it, but it's not laughable.
No,
because it's really toxic. We're supposed to be living in this kind of stuff they're throwing at us. But I mean, I think, Juliet, you've got a video.
We've got a few little.
It's cesium. I think it appears, which is being used in chemo treatment.
There's all sorts of toxic ingredients.
Yes.
So I've got a few little clips for those that still believe that chemtrails are just normal exhaust from aeroplanes. But
and in intensification of planes now in the sky. So you need to have this app. So.
Yeah. So what was it, Marion, that you were saying about this? So
there's actually a place where you can go and talk about, like, you share your vote and your views. And I think it's called geowatch.org or something like that.
I know that one.
It's quite a well-organized website for collecting data to make the case a proper case about it all.
Okay.
But I was listening to an interview. It's Richard Vobe's interview with two pilots, and they're both commercial private pilots, and they were talking about things like the spraying planes are not visible on the radar. So if you look at the radar and you're looking in the sky and you can see a plane flying past you, it won't be on the radar. The military have been involved, and apparently the military have been doing it for over 40 years. So it's just in the last few years, it's ramped up, so it's more and more than it ever was.
Yeah.
But the whole this idea that it's been a really big military secret for a long time, and so then the commercial pilots, because these people aren't spraying, the pilots that we're talking, they're witnessing what happens with the other planes.
Yeah.
And they all know what's going on. They must know that they're breathing it in themselves. They know it's not like there's the reasons they're saying is for climate collapse, calamity darling. They're supposed to be saving the world from all of that. But also the specific, as the group was saying, the specific chemicals that they're using are super toxic chemochemicals, problems. You've got neurological problems with aluminium, strontium, and bromium, or something like that.
Yes.
And bromide, is it? There's just like all these things that are known carcinogens, known neurotoxins, and they know what they're carrying because they have to fill out loads of forms before they can leave the airport with any kind of dangerous cargo on a plane. And it has to be very specifically where it is. So in case there's an accident, you can go, yeah, there's some dangerous stuff over there. So like all of the chemical profiles are known to the guys who are flying the planes. But it's such a closed club because it's come out of a military operation as well. It's all non-disclosure agreements. And if you open your gob, you've lost your job, you know. So another little set of controlled little, you know, omodons doing as they're told and taking their stupid salaries home to their poisoned houses. That they poisoned themselves.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, I've got these little clips, and I can't show them in the order that they're meant to be shown in. But anyway, oh God, what did just happen? Oh, sorry, my computer just closed something. So one of the things is the interconnection between the chemtrails and HAARP. Like people don't realize that those two work together. And in this little video here that I've got, which I'm now going to share, hopefully, if it works, hang on.
Well, interestingly, they were talking about mackerel skies, which a mackerel sky, there's a natural phenomena, but majority of the ones we see are actually radio frequency disturbance in a cloud belt. And that's done with, I think it's HAARP that they're using for that. And then the graphene oxide, isn't it? Or whatever it is that
this guy's going to explain it, so I'm just going to show him, hopefully.
Have you got it? Hello.
Sorry, that didn't work.
I think with your bad connection, I don't know if you're going to be able to do streaming while you're streaming.
Oh, let me just try, because I lost it. It shut something off. Let me just try again. So, okay.
The other thing, Brigitte, you were saying about the hedgehog being confused. Oh, I'll say that afterwards.
Let's just try again. Okay, so.
The reason why we see this ripple effect happening in the sky is going to blow your mind. Now, this is what resonant frequencies look like when they are pitched into water. So different frequencies are being pitched into this water, and it creates different shapes and different patterns. Now, let's take a look at what this frequency does to sand. 4129. See this pattern? Looks very similar to this pattern now, doesn't it? This pattern happens because they are beaming ELF frequencies into the sky. And this is exactly what they are using to do this. It is called HAARP, and it's run by the military. Now, you can literally go outside and observe this yourself. They drop chemicals from planes, then they use HAARP to disperse those chemicals and block out the sun. Now, for all the sheep, all you got to do is look into this stuff. They literally emit, they're spraying millions of tons of chemicals into the atmosphere to block out the sun. And you can go look up the hundreds of patents the US has on weather control and doing exactly what I'm telling you. This is what a normal sky looks like, guys. And this is what weather modification looks like. This is why you don't see skies like this in Mexico, because they banned weather modification. They put this right in your face of all of your favorite TV shows. Now, the reason I make these videos is because the collective consciousness is shifting. We could be one person waking up a way that will shift the collective consciousness and in turn take down our suppressors. They have been deceiving you your whole lives, and the real truth to everything is found within.
So there's that.
Did you hear that, Marianne?
Yeah.
Could you hear it?
Yeah. She was, yeah. So
that was good.
Okay, so I've got a few of these little clips that let's see. They're not in the order that I set them up, but if you follow the links on them, okay.
Can we do one on the?
Can't. Okay, so this one is going to tell you about what's in the chemtrails. This is the military doctor.
On in about a week on my radio show. And I've done some investigations, and there's very solid evidence now that Morgellons is caused by a silicon-based nanomachine life form that does not originate on planet Earth. Is that not interesting? This is a silicon-based life form that is intelligent like bees or ants. and it fights back. Conversion of the atmosphere into a plasma for weather modification, geotectonic, scalar mining technologies, the woodpecker, which has been discovered back in the 70s, HARP, the TETRA system in the United Kingdom, Gwen towers in the United States, and the Iridium satellite system connected to the cell towers and the smart highways is all based on not only sending out a signal to track you, but Nokia, which is one of the leading cell companies, has figured out a new way to cut down the need for increasing the amount of signal by 3 to 5 times as many cell phones in the same signal area by beaming the signal directly to you. But they can also, besides the cell signal, they can actually have a biocoded signal to your DNA to affect your physiology and insert thoughts into your mind. And they have this technology today.
Charming, isn't it? They can beam thoughts into your mind. I've been hearing that a few times by different things. So
that's a phenomena though that's been recognised with radio and telephone and television, isn't it? Some people can connect or receive the frequencies, including the, I don't know if the sound or the, but it's like the sensitivity to that level of information is very rare. But now we're being so bombarded with it all. It's killing us all, isn't it? Killing us all.
But I think we're probably mutating. You know, I always have this trust that life is more powerful than anything. So I think we're evolving alongside it. So and the mind, humans are more powerful than anything. Human beings, the power of the mind, and you know, there's a lot of spiritual power that we have. So I'm remaining very hopeful. We just have to keep processing.
Apocalyptimist, that's what Mark Atwood says he is, isn't it? It's the apocalypse, just means the unveiling. Yeah, the apocalyptimist.
Absolutely. And for those that don't believe that chemtrails are happening, this little clip from David Wolf is very interesting. If I can show you. I don't know why this is so annoying. Keep talking, keep talking. I'm having a problem clicking the link for some reason because this, I don't know why this.
One of the things I was going to say about the animal behaviour, that was another thing one of the things I heard through Richard Vobes was that a lot of farmers are reporting really weird behaviour in nurturing, what are they called? You know, newborns, basically. And also bee behaviour. And it is like their instinctual processes are now confusion. They're in a state of confusion. Yeah. So they're not able, like you were saying about the little hedgehog, yeah, they're not in a state to survive because they haven't got any, their instincts have been totally like there's a veil or something in the way.
Yeah.
And saying that is again because of this poison in the soil and all the grass eating animals. Like a lot of lambs are having problems apparently. And I remember earlier this year there was a weird lamb story in Glastonbury, wasn't there? That quite a few lambs have died in a field that was, yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to, the lamb story, yeah, I just want to show you this little thing. I just doing that because you'd come stay in the frame. Would you give that? We're here. That's not what people are saying. No. So, sorry, we're having a little confusion about the
message.
It's okay. So, yeah.
That's all right. We'll make everybody feel normal if we're all confused.
We're all confused, yeah. So, it's a bit.
I feel the key here.
I'm a hedgehog.
Yeah, I feel the key here as a woman, as an elder woman, is when we meet a situation where the bee is confused, etc., we really need to put water out. Yeah. We need to really tend and care at a different level. So my feeling is whenever we get so much stuff, so much abuse, we need to go deeper into our intuitive and instinctual nature and find ways to counteract that evil.
Absolutely.
So that's my feeling right now. And in a way, that's asking the highest good for all of life.
Yeah.
In the face of such evil. That's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, that's really important, isn't it?
And that means really, I mean, the lime trees, in 4 days, my lime flowers were finished. Well, that's tremendously well, it's terrible for the bees, all the bees and the butterflies, because instead of having the lime flowers for 2 or 3 weeks in the tree, they had 4 or 5 days to collect the pollen and take it back. And the same for the
Do you know
butterflies.
anything about why that happened? What's your sense of what's?
Well, my sense is because of the level of chemtrails and toxicity from day and night. It's going on day and night. And the rain is toxic.
Yeah.
I keep on cleaning my car. It's
Yes.
not rain we're getting. We're getting mud. We're getting metal. We're getting all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And it takes so long to clean a car now. I mean, I don't take it to be clean because I'd be spending hundreds of pounds every month. So you've got to scrub the windscreen, and it sticks. It sticks. It's not normal. So if I had a lab, I could study what the metals are. If I had a lab, microscopic, you know.
There are a lot of studies. So the geowatch.org, that's one of the areas that they've got information on, actually, the studies of dust on cars and things.
Yes, thank you, Marion, because I know about them, and I'm going to contact them because this is really getting, and people are saying, oh, it's only sand in the rain. I said, no, it's not just sand in the rain. There's all sorts of other material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So anyway, this little clip by David Wolf, it's just 11 seconds long. I'm just going to show you how the chemtrails switch on and off. So just showing you this.
Yeah, that's very interesting because in a way it has delivered its toxicity.
Yeah.
And then the harp is going to come and finish it off.
Yes, it's going to beam the waves at it to then, you know, and people don't see the chemtrails in the sky anymore. They don't realize because we've got lots of grey clouds and everything, and then it's like it's going to rain and they don't put the two together, but the harp has kind of spread everything out and made these funny clouds. And
but the clouds are very toxic. I'm going to share something. Both my sister
with the harp system, what they do is they create these kind of bell-shaped heat bubbles, don't they? That's one of the ways that that's one of the specific things that they can do really easily with the technology. And that creates all kinds of massive storms, you know, like with the thing in Dubai and all sorts of other crazy weather.
Acapulco.
Yeah.
And we had it here a few years ago.
Yeah.
Beautiful blue sky, 20 minutes, absolute devastation in the garden. But what they do with those heavy clouds you were talking about, Marion, they are grey-black, they come very low.
Yeah.
And then you get heat and then very cold.
Yes.
Heat and very cold. And the toxicity is then delivered into us. And what it does, it can impact your ear. So you get an ear infection, throat, you can't swallow anymore, and then you start coughing. Okay, so then you've got to change gear with big fever, like you go very hot and very cold. I've been through that 2 weeks ago.
After you were out there,
I was out there and I saw it.
Strange cloud.
I was only gardening and my sister was the same, and we both got it.
Yeah.
And I went into totally different mode about how to deal with that and clean it out of our system.
And it's a radiation poisoning, isn't it? Because this whole dome and the waves, there's a frequency to it that's way beyond the physical as well.
Yes, but it needs to be really, if I look at it, we need to, okay, that's really toxic, but how can I now clear it out of my body? So that's where the piece of Juliet with Dr. Peter McCullough. McCullough. You say
because they're poisoning us from all levels, aren't they? We're getting it in the arm, we're getting it from the skies, we're getting it in our water,
and from the floods. They're flooding. hailing wines
in the food.
You know, I mean,
have you seen this? Lots of stories recently about microplastics being found in sperm.
yes,
Four out of 5 men that recently were being having some kind of surgery for what's it called? Dysfunction, erectile dysfunction. There were 5 people who had some surgery, and 4 of them they found plastic particles in the penis tissue.
Oh my God!
So it's not
in breast
in the sperm. So yeah, it's in breast milk. And the thing is, we've been shedding plastic fibers. That's another thing that they put in the sprays as well, isn't it? They can put microplastics. But we've been shedding plastics into the water since they introduced polyester and nylon, haven't we? Because that's what they are. They break down into tiny, after over years and years, they begin to rot and shred into. So like our old bedding that we think we're being really ecological because we've had the same sheets for 25 years. They're probably sending so many bloody plastic particles every time we wash them out into our water supply that we're doing, as you say, we don't know where we've been poisoned. We're continuously re-poisoning ourselves because we don't know where it's coming from.
2 things. One is like, oh well, humans have been really stupid and they've had this advanced technology and they're accidentally polluting the planet. We have to take care of the planet. So there's that level, but there's another level of deliberate intention, and this is what's coming out now, that there are a group of people that are determined to kill us off in one way or another. I mean, that is so clear with the jabs and with the geoengineering and stuff.
And there's no other reason why they would use the specific chemicals they're using in the spraying if it wasn't part of the depopulation agenda. Exactly. And the people who are paying, when you follow the train, follow the money, the people who are paying for these chemicals to be produced are part of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in the States.
That's right. And you know, not to sound kind of, oh, this is all hopeless. We can do a lot about it. We've got Christine Anderson in Parliament, in the European Parliament. But I just want to share a little bit of a minute or so of a clip from her, because she's speaking out, telling people how to deal with this.
So where is she speaking?
In the European Parliament.
European Parliament, okay.
Yeah, European.
There are quite a few people in the European Parliament speaking openly.
Yeah, so who else is speaking openly in the European Parliament? So if I can find it, Mr. Courage,
yeah, there's one of the Dutch guys as well, isn't there? Well, I think
this one. Chris, she says the future will be ours. So this is her. Okay, we've got this. So no, that's the, okay, bear with me. Yeah, she's amazing. She's really been fighting for people's rights, and so. Oh, hang on, sorry.
It's not just happening in Germany or Italy or Spain or some tips as to how we can ensure that the people will forgive in the end. Number one, the first couple of things are rather no-brainers. Number one, turn off your fucking television set. Be done with it. And never turn it back on again. And you're not going to miss anything either, by the way. Yeah. Anything happening, you'll find out. Turn it off. That's it. Very simple. Also, diversify your sources. Read whatever you can lay your fingers on. As Denzel Washington once said, and it was, I think, like, 20 years ago, he was that astute back then. He said, he who does not read the newspaper is uninformed. And he who reads the newspaper is misinformed and disinformed. So diversify your sources. By the way, you might have followed that. The United States, they are now working on banning TikTok. You heard that? I'm not a fan of TikTok, by no means. But if the US government wants to ban it, You bet. Now I'm on TikTok. Now I'm watching it. Number 2. Obviously, you question everything your government is doing or saying or not doing or not saying. That, by the way, is one of the principles of how democracy works. Critical citizen. Of course, you question everything they're trying to tell you. And do not only question and mistrust your government, most of all, you need to distrust the EU Commission. It's a hellhole. It's the headquarters of spreading fake news and disinformation. It's the government. Number 3, stop voting for the same idiots that you in this place in the first place. Don't vote for them anymore. Because you might have noticed the ones that have been trying to convince you to, know everything about this novel virus and how to fight it are the same ones that are now trying to tell you we're all going to die of climate change. Yeah. No, we're not.
So, yeah, I'd really recommend you carry on listening to her. The link will be by the side, but, that's so important what she's saying. And you know that they've now invented a climate change vaccine to inject into cows to kill the microbes in the cows' bellies so that they can't digest and they don't pass wind.
Yeah, I heard Bill Gates talking about that because he's doing a lot of stuff in Ohio, isn't he, to shut down loads of farms because there's loads of cobalt there for mining. So they've shut down all the waters off all the farms in Ohio. And then this new cobalt mine has just started up and uses more water than all of the farms put together. But they've had their water cut off because there's a shortage all of a sudden.
There isn't a shortage, it's for the cobalt. So it's big money again.
Yeah,
so,
big money. And Gates.
Everybody's coming, we're seeing it. So people need to really look for information. Yeah,
So there's very good advice from Christine Anderson there, and she's the warrior. The same as Dr. David Martin and Andrew Bridgen and so many people. There's so many millions of people that are fighting back. And as David Icke says, we are many and they are few, and they're only existing because we're giving them our power. So, and Jack says, turn off the television, the live vision. Yeah. So anyway, we have 15 minutes left, and we'd like to hear from anybody who'd like to share. How are you dealing with all this craziness and all the confusion? It's like, how do we cope? How do we cope with this? How do you cope? What's your sense of what? Because there's so much despair associated with it. It's so complex to deal with.
Well, I think I really feel it matters to access. If I feel sad, the sadness because I'm not seeing my loved mountains, or I'm not being able to, for example, fly as often as I want because I'm not working the way I used to work. Life has completely collapsed because the regulations are OTT now to run any business. And I was talking, even in house business, I was talking to the builder today because I went to get an electric cable, and he was telling me everything is done in France at the moment to shut down small businesses or any business. So what do you do when you've got a piece of information like that? Well, my resource is meditation, is going into nature. I'm not doing the rescuing, but like the little hedgehog, I realized that's quite a few days he's come out in the daylight. And I thought, well, that's not normal behavior. So I thought, okay, what does he need? So that's where it's happening. And my feeling is whenever someone is open, then relate and give a little bit of information.
But how are people coping emotionally? Does anybody want to share anything about, how to cope with what's going on? I mean, do spend a minute. How are you coping, Marion? Because it's pretty tough for you in London, isn't it?
Yeah. I I mean, I had a difficult conversation with one of my brothers the other day. We met briefly, and the weather came into the conversation, and he's completely hypnotized, or I'm completely hypnotized, but we're both in very different states. And his, I said something about the cold weather for me in June has happened before. It happens, I don't know, once every 5 years or so on average. I know it's been cold. I remember lots of times thinking it's cold and it's June. So being cold in June isn't that unusual, but the sky thing is very different. And the what's it called? The thing that brings the cold weather here, the stream, the jet stream. So the jet stream is quite far south, which is why we're experiencing so much cold. But again, the jet stream I reckon can be changed by HAARP, by these domes and things. We're going to be able to shift where that is.
And so is the Gulf Stream.
Yeah.
So fishes are coming and
So
dying.
what I said to my brother was, because I thought when I mentioned the thing about the Gulf Stream and the jet stream and it being cold and it's June and it's kind of normal, and he was nodding, he was kind of agreeing that was a plausible explanation. And then I said, because I'd just heard those pilots talking about the fact that the spraying planes are not even on the radars and how dangerous that could be. Because obviously if they're not on the radars, or the pilots don't even know that they're there. And I just mentioned this to him, and I can't even remember how it came out. But sort of as I was saying it, he said, "What are they spraying?" And I said, "Well, they're spraying chemicals." Because I thought I can't just go into the because he doesn't even know why are they spraying. And I said to try to block the sun because of the climate catastrophe. And I say it like that as well, the climate collapse catastrophe. So. So it was really because he just sort of stopped in his tracks. This idea that there's chemicals being sprayed, and I said, and they know that they're poisonous, but they're still spraying them, saying they're supposed to be trying to block out the sun for us trying to breathe. And then we sort of parted ways. So I sort of left him with that, but he didn't respond in any way to question it or to there was no resistance in the way the conversation went, because it was very organic, and I'd kind of promised myself I wasn't going to go on a rant, because there's no need to be right when actually you just want to enjoy somebody's company. You can enjoy people's company without someone having to be right and someone having to be wrong. So I kind of went with that frame of mind. But yeah, that little bomb that I left at the end, I was just really pleased that it just kind of flowed, because it was something I'd heard very recently, and for me that's a really that's a bit weird. If planes are flying and they're not on the radar and you can see it, what's that? Why? What's going on? And so yeah, with my brother, that was an interesting conversation. I've not heard from him since, and when we meet again, I don't know if he'd even remember it. But for me, it was really good because he was curious without me having to prod. Just by dropping teeny tiny seeds. I didn't have to give any big story or any big anything. Just the idea of the spraying. And because I said to him, well, you see the lines in the sky? And that was when he said, so what are they spraying? And, I didn't have to go into a big thing. And I think that's one of the things, is this thing about being right, wanting to be right, or feeling that you are right, and there's injustice. And that righteousness is really, really toxic, really damaging, pisses me off, pisses off everybody. It's just stupid. It's not a value to hold above enjoying people's company. That's what I'm kind of.
It's very challenging because the degree of the horror is so great that they're committing genocide in so many ways. And I mean, that's so horrific. It's such a big thing to process, that you want to be right. You want people to listen. You don't want people to be asleep to what's going on, because we need people to wake up. Yeah. But the very fact that we have this charge, this emotional charge around it, immediately shuts people off who then feel aggressed by us, because we are acting as if we're the holders of the truth and they're the poor idiots.
Serious, and it's righteous, and yeah, it's not.
It's a very difficult dynamic to hold, and I've heard from so many people who have not been aware of these things how upset they are by the righteous person who has, is holding the truth. So it's
scary. You have to remember, when you share something, mean, it's great what you did, because you left a little seed, and that little seed will germinate in time, which is my way of engaging with people I meet.
Yeah.
Little seed. It's like a drop of water.
Yeah.
And that drop of water is going to water a little seed. That's all you can do. But that righteousness, it's got no room. It must not.
The truth doesn't need righteousness, does
No,
it?
it doesn't. And the thing is, it's very shocking for anyone to acknowledge that the air I'm breathing is becoming toxic. How can that be? How can my government or anything around me do that to me?
Yeah.
You know, I've paid my taxes, I have worked, I have had children, etc., etc. How dare they do that without my consent? But they are doing it because of conflict of interest, etc., etc., etc. And at the end of the day, all we can do, well, my way of coping and surviving, is just every moment the universe gives me someone who gives a little opening, is to give a little seed, a little drop of water, and leave it. Because I have to trust that they are sovereign in their own right. We each have a choice. It's the gift we have on this planet Earth, the right to choose. So you choose to have your mask. I choose to tell you that you don't need to wear it for me. That makes no difference. Fascinating, isn't it?
So it's a big shake-up, isn't it, for us all? It's like they say we're evolving. This is the ascension process. We're certainly being given a big shake-up that somehow or other we've got to deal with, some really huge topics.
And the huge topic, I feel, is when you're pioneering, and you are moving into your DNA staying true, your sovereignty, and you're not buying into any of that, you have to take on board that you're going to be solitary. Wherever you are on planet Earth, you may not be with a group of people, and you may be just on your own. And that's a big challenge. I speak for myself.
That's why we do this. That's why we do this every week, is because it is so lonely, isn't it? If you're not connected directly, frequently to people.
And at the other side, on an energetic level, what I was sharing with Juliet yesterday, the light is shifted. The light is much brighter. The frequency of the light has gone into a very different quality of presence. So yes, they're dimming the light of the sun. There's a kind of haze which prevents me from seeing the mountain or seeing things, okay, a long way. I'm talking about 100, 150 kilometers, where before I used to see them like I see you both. But the key is I can stay with that, witness, but still witness that there is a shift in that radiance of the light, the solar light on the trees, and the trees are amplifying their aura, and we are amplifying, and we are purifying our bodies because our DNA is shifting. Juliet, you said earlier on, we may become a different species. I feel we are moving into being very different species.
Yeah, there's this paradox, isn't it? This battle between the dark and the light, and they're trying to dumb us down and dumb down the light and everything, but we're shining brighter and brighter.
That's it.
And you can't dim that light of the spirit.
They can't, because it's the soul and spirit. You okay with your eye, my darling? Eh?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I poked myself in it by accident.
Bless you.
Yeah, we're suffering a lot, all of us.
Yeah, so my feeling is we're witnessing. One thing I've noticed recently is all the collective trauma down the lineage is coming through us, different people, like in my family. So the trauma from war is being revisited in a different form and asking for us to witness it with more conscious awareness and more compassion and more patience. So that's within the family. And I was thinking that my father in wartime was taken into a concentration camp, escaped, was shot. My mother was nearly shot. And everything is coming through again to be revisited. So if we know that, what is my peace? Not to take on the karma of my ancestors, but just to enable the flow, the release.
Yeah. Do you know what's really important in this as well, Brigitte, is the ability to re-center and bring what's the word? To rebuild confidence after a massive shift. Because if you're just waking up, whenever you've made a big mistake, whenever you've been hypnotized, there was a financial thing that we all did a few years ago that I was completely hypnotized by. And what that's taught me is how difficult it is for me to stand again in confidence, just as me, with whatever I've got. Because that slap, that sweep, that shift has put me into such a different place that I'm having to recover and regain that centered confidence. And that absolutely has shown me how difficult it is for the other to allow the slap of the shift of reality to wake up, or whatever it is that happens, to bring people to consciousness, awareness, to become aware of something on a different level. How do we then support people who've been shouting from the treetops, this is the truth, this is the truth, and then you go slap, turn it on its head, because there's the truth for you. How do we help people in that situation? So I feel that what you were just saying was really important, because it's gave me a real piece of clarity that my being knocked off my feet and having to rebalance is actually, if I'm learning that, then I can help other people who are going to have to go through the same thing.
Exactly. And some of them, it's through so much suffering. Yeah. Such deep suffering, even near-death experience, talking about close one right now.
Yeah.
And my God, that person to have that, everyone around that person then wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And what is my peace in that?
Yeah.
So when you share that, yes, that's a huge slap. Just turn it. Okay, when did I go blind? How did I get myself seduced?
And actually what's important is it doesn't matter. That actually, you're just going to think less of yourself if you try to fill in those gaps.
Exactly.
What you do is to come, where is the truth now? Where's the truth now? Not what was the truth then, where's the truth now, here now? And how can we bring the truth? Because I think it's the truth that we need, isn't it, to rebuild that confidence.
And the essence of Marian, because you have such that essence of you, that depth of the ultimate essence, the essential, the non-compromised.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been there, even within the illusion that we believed it would deliver. It doesn't matter, because you and each one of us, wherever we are at, we think we're doing our very best. Mm-hmm. Even those who are playing the darkest games, they are blinded by the dark, or they have compromised themselves. And can we witness that and say, okay, let's turn it on its side and say, let me love you again, embrace you again. And that requires humility.
Yeah.
That humility to say, okay, let me learn to take one step and then another step. And
we've all fucked up, isn't it? We've all fucked up. We don't need to compare.
Exactly. But the key is, did we fuck up, or did we enable a much greater process of awakening.
Well, that's what we learn to grow, isn't it? Because I think when you've awakened, the difficulty can be that you get caught in the trap of hating yourself for not having awoken, rather than appreciating that now it's actually you can look back, but from this position of truth now, with some love and some compassion.
That's it. Now Jack is saying something, and the time is up for you, Marianne.
Very good. Right, I'm going.
Okay, okay, you go, and I'm just going to share what Jack says. So if you want to leave, just leave, Marianne. Or
no, I'm going to wait now. I'm waiting till I hear what Jack says. Okay,
so Jack says people are learning that governments are not working in their best interests, which is great, because it's moving us away from the need for governments. Governments are making themselves obsolete.
Yes, I agree, Jack. That's absolutely. And he did share another one.
And he also says, Jack also says, we're all doing the best we can with what we know. There is no blame. There is no judgment.
Yes, that's key to healing, I feel. The non-judgment, because as soon as we judge or we compare or we compete, we divide.
Yeah.
And more than anything, we have to stand together. Whatever's going on, we have to stand together and stop fighting against each other.
But that's an inner process.
Yeah.
It's an inner process, because there is no, that's what I was saying to the woman.
You become a doormat if it's not an inner process, don't you?
Yeah. I said to her, I said, you and I, we're in the same field of energy. That was a little gem I gave her.
Anyway,
it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's only one field of energy.
We're all in it.
The more we clean our own selves, all the shit they're throwing at us, I'm sorry about the word, will disappear. Because it will not be sustained. The new frequencies of energies will not sustain and support the evil. It will not. This is where we are moving. It's lovely seeing you, Marianne.
Yeah, you too, Brigitte.
Thank you, Jack. Bisous, bisous. Thank you, Jack, for being on there, and anyone else who listens to this.
Yes.
And wisdom.
Yeah, and thank you to everybody that listens to this video and shares it. Please do share it, because there's a lot of people that are really isolated and really need support. And do contact us if you want to ask any questions, or you do need support. And
big love, Jack.
And, and follow the links
for gentle love.
Yeah,
I don't do big, I do gentle.
So, share information, take the time to think about things and come to your own decisions about things, because we're all sovereign beings. So, lots of love.
Bye.
I don't know how we do all that.
I don't know. And I will keep you informed about Little Hedgehog, because I'm going to release Little Hedgehog.
Yeah, we've got to go and check the hedgehog. Lots of love to you, Marianne. Enjoy your meditation, darling.
Oh, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You look well.
Bye.
Bye.